I'm Steve Redhead, and I'm sitting in our house, hopefully opening the box of Bob Dylan's The Cutting Edge Bootleg Series Volume 12 Collector's Edition.
And so it's just arrived. Where's it come from, Dale?
It's come from the USA.
And hold on, I'll just show the box. Here is the box. You can commence opening.
Oh dear.
Have you got a good pair of scissors? You all right?
Oh dear.
They're never going to put you on a cooking show, Dale.
No, they're not. They might put me in a reality TV show though.
Yes, that's perhaps is very likely. Yeah. But you said the box is heavy.
Very heavy.
You realise if you injure yourself, like your whole injury is going to be on video, don't you?
Yes.
And you're going to be
I'm able to do this actually.
Keep going. Can I be of assistance?
Yes, I can't do it.
What we'll do, guys, is we'll pause this video and I will take the brown box off and then Steve will continue. So part 2. His blonde assistant has taken the ugly cardboard off. What are we left with now, Steve?
What we might say, blonde on blonde.
Blonde on blonde.
We're left with a cardboard box, an inner cardboard box.
Yes.
But the actual box, which I think is blue,
yes,
with white writing on, does seem to be poking through.
Okay, so your scissors are at the front if you require them.
No.
Oh. Jeez, it's big, isn't it?
There we are. So there's the cardboard, and there is the plastic. But the actual box is now revealed. Right,
so that's great.
There are 18 CDs.
Yes.
Nearly 400 tracks. Everything that Dylan recorded in the years 65 and 66, which covered 3 great albums. Everything that was recorded in the studio is on 18 CDs and also on a digital link.
But this is the posh one, so what's the difference between this one, the posh one, of which there are 5,000 released, and the one down? What's the difference?
The one down, which I think is deluxe edition, has about 6 CDs. This is absolutely everything. And then there's a basic common or garden couple of CDs.
Yes, but you're posh, so you've got the posh
I'm very
one.
Posh.
So are you ready to open the posh thing? Let's see what you've bought. Well, what I bought for you.
Yes,
still.
what you bought for me, which is an early Christmas present.
Yes.
And this is the blue box, which I'm opening.
Right. Oh, a certificate.
A certificate of authenticity.
Oh, I'm really thrilled by that. What number are you? 3636? Oh,
yes,
how lucky are we?
3636. There are only 5,000. And there will only ever be 5,000.
And by the way, viewers, we're meant to care about that. So the 5,000, and there's only 5,000, we're meant to care. And the certificate of authenticity, right? So
there were only 12 at the Last Supper.
There were only 12 at the Last Supper. That's great. I never knew you'd be giving us a religious lesson while we're opening this. Okay. Yes, you've got your certificate. That's great. Right.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Right. Oh, that's interesting. So what's that?
Then there's an inner sleeve of Dylan Byers Donovan, Don't Look Back, with the apostrophe. It shouldn't have an apostrophe.
No.
Don't Look Back was without apostrophe. And I think this is advertising what's next in the box, which is actually...
but is that like a transparency?
Yes,
it looks like...
it's transparency of Dylan's... of Penny Baker's Don't Look Back, which was the film of the 1965
okay, I'm borrowing that. I'm just going to put that against the light. So we've got cells. Oh, wow. That is very impressive. That I will frame. So that's excellent. That's great.
As you've explained to me, analogue.
Yes.
But in a digital package.
Digital, digitised, completist package. That's fantastic.
So,
brilliant.
Don't Look Back, which is a great film, and also the outtakes, which we also have of Don't Look Back, is a great film, the second version.
Yes, as you can tell, there's a third person in my marriage, and this is Bob Dylan. Please continue, Stephen.
Another transparency. Insert, yes, another insert, which is actually a review of Dylan's Highway 61 Revisited, which was 1965, and one of the albums that's in depth
great.
in this.
How
package.
interesting! How interesting! I love the transparencies. Remember the order? Yep. Okay, so here we are now.
Now book of.
Wow.
I imagine the CDs themselves. Oh no, I think this is a book of photos.
Oh wow.
Of Dylan from 65, 66, mainly in the studio, including Subterranean Homesick Blues.
Yep.
One affected with the first pop video.
Indeed, I'd call it that. Right, so there's
these are great photos of Dylan in the studio in this period.
Yep, that's fantastic.
And covers. On all the bootleg series, there are picture books like this, but this looks a fantastic one.
And also lyrics as well, by the look of that as well. Fantastic. Okay, so posh book. Right, now let's go back, and there's another transparency. What an interesting way to package it. I wasn't expecting that.
And that is a photo of Dylan on a transparency.
Is that a harmonica?
Sure. Don't know.
Fascinating. So
yes, he's throwing it up in the air.
thank you.
Well done, Bob.
Well done, Tara, for working out it's a harmonica. Right, so this is it?
This is the book of the CDs.
Oh.
And there are 18 of them.
Right.
Nearly 400 tracks. You know, like a Rolling Stone, 15 takes.
So the question is, why would anybody want Like a Rolling Stone in 15 takes, really?
Because in that case you can actually hear how it went from a waltz to a 6-minute single.
Right.
In the studio, and there are lots of versions. But I think for mad completists like me, and all the others who wanted bootlegs, whether they're official or not, over the years, the idea really was to hear how things were constructed, but also the myths were built around the idea that, you know, even the released versions weren't as good as the actual, you know, the great versions which were behind in the studio that they left on the cutting room floor. And in Dylan's case in 65, 66, I think that's true. Sometimes in the rest of his career it was true, but he tended to lose his judgment later. At this time, 65, 66, actually so much of the stuff was just great.
Yeah.
You could have 15 versions which were all different and even as good as the thing that was actually released.
Oh, fantastic. So the completist phenomena is a particularly Dylan thing, although we talked about this morning, Bruce Springsteen's fans are doing something similar as well.
Lots of music fans are doing the same thing.
So we've got track notes as well, so we've actually got the original of what looks like the analogue tapes.
Yes.
Of what's on these recordings.
Yes.
Literally when they were done, timing who played.
And this is volume 12 of the bootleg series, which Sony started in the early 90s. And in fact, most of the recent ones are done in this format. Beautifully produced, CDs actually in packages, which are actually the original studio logs and things, which again suggest authenticity.
Yes, the authenticity discourse is very interesting in this, isn't it?
So that is fascinating.
Well, that's amazing.
I can't wait to hear those. So I might see you in about January 2016.
Yeah, I might see you for your birthday, right? So there we go. So, and the saga continues. We've got another transparency.
Another transparency, which is...
Oh, I love that shot. That's one of my favourite shots, actually.
That's Dylan in the studio for Highway 61 Highway 61 Revisited album.
Yes, great shot.
I think. Yeah, I think so.
Fantastic.
And then the booklet, another booklet, which is Dylan 65-66, the Cutting Edge Collector's Edition, Bootleg Series, Volume 12. This particular photograph is slightly different to the one that was on the cover of Blonde on Blonde.
Yep.
And the idea of the title of Blonde on Blonde was always mythical and apocryphal. People suggested it was Bob, Blonde on Blonde, B-O-B.
Yep.
But they also suggested it was Edie Sedgwick, Brian Jones and Bob Dylan. And in fact Nico.
Wow.
Blonde on Blonde.
Wow, it's the 60s, man. Weird things happened. Wow.
And this is...
Wow.
Beautifully produced booklet with photographs, but also with new writing on these tracks.
Fascinating.
By, let's see, not sure who wrote this particular.
Doesn't say?
Doesn't say. Not sure.
We'll find out anyway.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Because there'd be a lot of authors involved.
Yes, they usually
producing
have
this package.
a number of writers, and also there's track by track.
Is that Ben Rowlands?
Yes, by Ben Rowlands.
Yep.
But the actual writing, there's Al Cooper's remembrance of him being at the Hammond organ, which he was, and he was just a guitar player, as Tom Wilson, the producer, reminded us when Like a Rolling Stone was recorded. But the interesting thing is he was also on organ for all sorts of other aspects of Highway 61 Revisited when Bob Johnson became the producer too. And Dylan basically said, keep the organ player. And
the organ made the track,
it did.
Really. Fantastic. It looks like there's more in your box, Steve.
Oh, one of the writers is Sean Willants, who's an American professor, actually, who wrote one of the best books on Bob Dylan that I can recommend to anybody, called Bob Dylan in America, and has really some of the best writing on the Blonde on Blonde sessions in 1965-66.
Fantastic. Now there's more in your box.
Wow. Even I didn't know there was this much.
Right, there's another transparency. What a fascinating way to segment analogue objects.
It is. So Columbia Pop Hit Series, and basically this is introducing the non-digital, which is the singles, all the singles repackaged, vinyl singles, all repackaged, that were released in this period of 65-66. There are, I think, 9 of them. Subterranean Homesick Blues.
So we've gone back to vinyl and, in fact, the singles.
Like a Rolling Stone, Positively 4th Street, Highway 61 Revisited, etc., etc., etc.
Original covers?
No, these are new covers. Because I had a lot of these originally on vinyl as singles before I sold all my vinyl to a Manchester entrepreneur. Hi, I was diddled.
That's going well. But having said that, you've got a wife now who's bought you something interesting. So the box now appears empty. Is that correct?
The last thing.
What is that?
For the vinyl.
Yes.
It's an insert for the vinyl singles. It's an insert, a plastic insert, and if we had a hi-fi system,
which I will get you one for Christmas, okay?
Which I used to have.
Yes.
We could play those singles.
Well, we will play it again.
Interestingly, they are mono singles.
Oh, isn't that... So we've got a lo-fi, low-tech analogue with the digital high specs thing. That is... how weird is that? Unbelievable. So, Dale, you've gone through it for its first run. Are you glad you've bought it? Tell me about what you're going to do now.
I am so pleased. I am going to play the 18 CDs in order over the next few months.
Months? Days. Well done, Stevie. Congratulations, darling.
Bye.